Welcome to Fully Baked Radio on WPPM 106.5 FM in Philadelphia. I'm your host, Flip Marley, and we have a great show in store for you guys today. We have several call-ins from cannabis activists from across the country. One of our guests is a cannabis grower and entrepreneur, Maya Elizabeth, who partnered with the infamous Whoopi Goldberg in building a brand catered to women who would like to use cannabis to help them with their monthly menstrual problems. Interesting. And of course, we have our weekly Fully Baked recap, and we have asked the NJWeedman. So stay tuned with us and stay baked.
Welcome. You're listening to another edition of Fully Baked Radio. I'm your host, Vanessa Maria, joined by Flip Marley and the NJWeedman. Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Vanessa.
Another week.
Yeah, we got a lot of great guests lined up for the show. I'm super excited to talk to folks from all over the country. How was your week, guys? It's MLK Day and, you know, leading up to the inauguration this week. How are you feeling?
I'm pulling my hair out for tomorrow.
I see you have fewer dreads today.
Oh man, I've been pulling them out all week, and then on top of that, I made a mistake to try to watch some confirmation hearings this week. And oh my goodness!
We need to talk about this for a second. If you want to make yourself sick, watch the confirmation hearings. I call it election flu because I literally felt nauseous after watching it. And they start early in the morning, or not fairly early, but they start in the morning. And so I was like watching CNN and MSNBC, and then they came on and just like ruined my day. I was like,
I'm glad I didn't have a gun. I would have shot my TV.
It's that bad. So let's do the roundup. We had, I feel like the biggest confirmation fail was definitely Betsy DeVos.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really bad. So if folks missed it, Betsy DeVos is being nominated for, I guess the
Department of Education.
Yes, Department
and
of
she's
Education.
not educated on anything.
So, I know. So if folks don't know her, she's married to a billionaire. She's also the sister of Eric Prince, the former CEO of mercenary firm Blackwater. She comes from a very, very wealthy family. Her family has given over $200 million in campaign contributions to the Trump campaign and to super PACs. And she is known for leading statewide campaigns that have both failed for school vouchers to be used for religious education or privatized charter school. So she's definitely
Which is they take that money, this public money, they take it from the public education coffers and try to put it into so-called charter schools, which are really just private schools in the suburbs to get, certain people away from other people. That's how I look at it. Yeah,
and there are good charter schools and bad charter schools. I think that, they range depending on what city you're in and how they're funded and how they're governed, etc. I think some of the line of questioning, though, during her confirmation hearing was specifically about should charter schools be held to the same standards as public schools because they receive federal money. And one of the questions was about whether or not charter schools should have to follow like the disability standards and regulations because they have federal money. And she wouldn't say yes. She just dodged every question. But it was just kind of really offensive because you kind of see where this is going. Like, you want to take all the money for public education and put it into charter schools and private religious schools, and yet you don't want them to be held to the same accountability standards as public schools, meaning that they can do whatever they want. But I think the most surprising thing was she was asked several questions about the debate, with several different, policy debates within education. I think Al Franken was asking her about growth versus proficiency, and it was clear she had no idea what he was talking about. Mm-hmm. And then the senator from Connecticut, of course, where the Sandy Hook school shooting happened, asked her whether or not she felt guns should be in schools. And she talked about
grizzly bears.
Guns for grizzlies.
Unbelievable. Like, what?
It's hard to even report the story with a straight face because this happened. This really happened. He asked her whether or not she believed there was a place for guns in schools. And she was confused, like she couldn't answer the question, so she said she was going to refer to the senator from Wyoming about a school you mentioned that had like grizzly bears, and they probably need a gun for grizzly bears.
In Montana.
No, Wyoming.
Wyoming.
And I think everyone was like confused, like what is she talking about? So she did I think she felt this kind of like palpable silence and people frowning. They probably were starting to like cross their arms and be like, what? So she tried to clarify and say that her heart bleeds for all the families whose kids were victims of school shootings. But that's all she said. She didn't say, but I think gun violence is bad and we need to do more to ensure there's no active shooters. Like, she didn't say any of that. She just was like, my heart bleeds for these families.
Did you see what the late night people all did with her? When she said that about the Grizzlies, then they had like, people were like, with crickets. They're like, they had crickets and everyone was like, it showed people in the audience. They made fake audience and people were like, making faces. It was funny.
Well, as soon as she said that, I was like, I can't wait for the internet memes. Like, the meme makers are like, yes. And sure enough, like, there's all these, like, memes now of, like, of grizzlies in schools, the guns for grizzlies.
That's one of them times I would have pulled out my gun, though. I'd have shot my TV, like, 8 times for that one.
And I just want to shout out to Bernie Sanders, who's been kind of on fire this week with his question. You could tell that he's mad. He's like... angry man. I'm gonna cross-examine all these people.
He's like, I can't believe this idiot picked these people.
Yeah, no, that's exactly you feel his rage. Like, this is outrageous. He asked Betsy DeVos, how much her family has contributed in campaign contributions. She didn't know. She was like, I don't know. I have no idea. And he was like, well,
if I told you 200 million, would that sound right? Something like that. He
maybe, sure. And then he asked, like, well, do you think had your family not made these contributions, would you be nominated? Would you be in this position? She goes, I'd like to think that yes, I'd still be given the opportunity, which I feel like people like laughed after that. Like, are you insane? Like, no, come on.
She has no qualifications other than the fact that she had a ton of money. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pay to play with a lot of these people.
She didn't even know the issues at all.
No, she didn't. It was like embarrassing.
I really was trying to watch her, and then I was the Grizzly question. That was it. I was done.
Well, she seems like
I moved on.
She seems like nice, right? She's smiling the whole time, and she seems like pleasant. But I was like embarrassed for her. It was that painful to watch. And then I think the most egregious thing, which is the thing that will, like, all the other stuff is like bad, but not necessarily disqualifying. I mean, the smoking gun was, she was asked specifically whether or not she served on the board of her mother's anti-gay foundation. And she said, I don't know. No, I don't serve on the board. I don't know what's going on. They do stuff and I don't have anything to do with that. And it said, like, well, you've been listed as the vice president of the board for the last, like, 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Who, and me? She exactly what she said. She was like, no, that's not me. And they were like, well, but we have your 990s. We're looking at the 990s right now. And you are listed. She goes, like, that's a clerical error. Wow. 13 years in a row.
Wow.
Made a clerical error. So
not on her taxes.
Either she, yeah, exactly. Either she, like, lied, right? Which is like really bad, clerical error, or she is, not aware of what's happening at the organization as a vice president of the board, and that's also like
exactly. This is the person one in charge of your DOE.
She should be charged with lying to Congress. Yeah, that's how bad that was.
Perjury. Yeah, that was really bad.
It was, like I said, I set out to watch her the other morning and just couldn't watch her.
Well, one of the things you can argue, having served on the board myself, is that oftentimes the board is not unanimous and it's decisions or it's policy making. All you need is a majority in order for things to carry. And she could have said, yes, I'm on the board, but I don't necessarily agree with everything. You know, so at some points I was outvoted, and you know, we have a diversity of opinions, and you know, you could have argued that
she can't think that far. And listen, you know what?
Because she's probably not really on the board. She probably doesn't know what's going on because she lives in her billionaire bubble.
I feel funny sometimes. Sometimes when you call a woman a dingbat, you know, it gets that how do you call it? Misogynistic feel for it. So I didn't want to say that, but that lady's a dingbat. She's straight up a dingbat.
She really is unqualified for the position.
Did anyone ask her anything about Trump University? Like, was that a question
you
that
know
was
what?
brought up?
I think I turned it by then.
Senator Diane Warren asked her about that. She said something to the extent was, are you aware of the Department of Education's role in, you know, regulating federal student loans and
accreditations? Yeah,
accreditations and, you know, the relationships with higher education universities. And she said, okay, like, yeah. And then, you know, she said, well, you know, will you enforce, you know, whatever the president tells you to do? And she said, I will do whatever the president says. It's like, okay, well, your president just settled a lawsuit like literally weeks ago for running a fraudulent university.
I can't believe that still. Like, he pretty much admitted to scamming people with this Trump University, and now he's about to become president.
Yep.
Like,
he settled the lawsuit. You know, that's basically
he does that with everything. Oh my goodness.
So Diane Warren did
5 more dreads.
I
just yanked 5 dreads out.
There's still people going crazy over Obama's birth certificate, but like, meanwhile, this dude's just scamming people right in front of our faces and be like, hey.
The dude who started the craziness around the birther movement is Donald Trump. He started the birther movement. So there's a direct relationship, you know.
Oh man, I'm gonna pull my beard out.
President, guys.
I gotta save my dreads. I'm gonna start pulling my beard hairs out.
Okay, and then who else did they interview this week? It was the secretary, the health and
Congressman Price.
Yes,
he's another one.
That was for the Department of Health and Human Services.
He's coming to destroy it. That's all he's coming to do. He's not coming to. And the Interior guy, I can't remember his name, for the Department of Interior. Same thing. He's coming to destroy the Department of Interior on purpose.
And the EPA guy.
Yeah. Like, he picked all the people who were opposed to the departments, and he made them in charge of the departments. Like, what?
You think that was by accident?
No. But even if you take his logic that he's going to drain the swamps, we're going to do things differently, I can see policy changes, maybe a different way of doing something. But he's appointed destroyers. And then the Secretary of State, come on. Listen, you really should have somebody who is a policy type guy, a political person, a person who's dealing with foreign governments. Now, I understand that as the head of Exxon, he probably does have to deal with other countries, but that's a corporation. It's about money.
I'm sorry. Have you ever seen Mr. Robot? Well, in Mr. Robot, there's an evil corporation, and they're called Evil Corp, right? Oh, wow. And they kind of are like an energy company. They're like, you know, all the evil companies rolled into one, right? But ExxonMobil to me is like Evil Corp, right? Yeah, and they're putting the CEO of Evil Corp, you know, like as Secretary of State. But then there's also so there's Steve Mnuchin, who is the Treasury Secretary pick. And he is the Goldman Sachs executive. It's worth
so you're going to put Wall Street in charge of the money.
He's a billionaire too. Rick Perry, who's also under investigation for corruption in Texas. He's been indicted. I don't think people remember that.
Yeah.
As energy secretary. Because there is oil in Texas, so this guy must know something.
Do you remember 4 years ago when he was running for president and he couldn't name 3 cabinet posts? Remember that?
Yeah, that was terrible.
He couldn't name 3.
That was like a Gary Johnson Aleppo moment.
This was worse because that's a geography question. There's a lot of people who could screw up the geography of a question. And then
I don't know. They're both pretty bad. We have an active military operation in Aleppo in Syria. Like it's pretty dire.
I mean, if anybody can't name 3 cabinet positions, I mean, you can just easily say Department of Defense, Education, EPA. That's 3. Real quick. Those are easy ones.
FDA,
Yeah.
Health and Human Services.
Yes. It's like, come on. Like, those are like the easy ones.
All right, so we have Linda McMahon. She's from the WWE.
Oh, wow. You're lying.
No.
She's for Small Business Administration.
This is going to be interesting.
No, it's not. It's going to be a disaster.
The whole election's been like wrestling anyway.
Yes.
Why not?
Yeah. His campaign was like a WWF.
Oh my gosh. And this guy, John Kelly, for Homeland Security, he's a pretty scary guy, too. He's a general.
Yeah, he just wants to bomb everybody, kill everybody.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he's a super neocon. And then his national security advisor, General Flynn, is a wacko. And
yeah, he's also being advised by Eric Prince.
yes,
That is super
Blackwater
scary.
is like one of his main advisors. And come on, Blackwater stole billions of dollars. I mean, I'm surprised he just didn't pick
It's
Dick
a
Cheney.
mercenary army. Like,
Yes.
everybody knows that. And if you want to learn more about Blackwater, journalist Jeremy Scahill wrote a really, really good book. It's like good and it's like scary and horrible. Again, you go down the rabbit hole. He also wrote another book, follow-up one called Dirty Wars. But the two go hand in hand. But it's all about government contracts and what's going on in Iraq and Afghanistan and the drone wars. And I'm surprised this dude has not been like kidnapped or disappeared, because like if you're investigating these shady firms, like they have to be following you or something. But I totally recommend people Google or research Blackwater, and then, see what that means in regards to him advising Trump. So then we have a couple other people. There's Ben Carson. We can't forget him for housing and urban development.
He had to have a black guy. Oh my goodness.
So
Come on.
Okay, if you don't know anything about Ben Carson, he is actually a very, very accomplished pediatric neurosurgeon from Johns Hopkins University. He's like the youngest chief of pediatrics at like, I think it was like 33 or something like that.
Right.
Brilliant. You
Yeah.
would think he would be like Surgeon General or Health and Human Services. But literally, I did research because I didn't want to unfairly judge him. But he literally has zero experience in housing and urban development.
He even said that. He even said his only qualification is that at one point when he was a child, he lived in a HUD house or something to that effect, and then someone else said that he was lying about that he didn't. So I never researched if he actually
he said
did.
several things in his book that were not true.
Oh yeah,
He said that he got a scholarship from West Point in Michigan State or something
and then
like
he turned
that.
him down.
Yeah, and they were like, no, he never even applied. We have
Yeah.
no record of admission.
Yeah.
He said a couple other things
Well,
that
hey,
were not true.
maybe that's why Trump picked him. He's a fellow liar.
Yeah, I'm going down. Oh, yeah, then there's,
Hubris.
for UN ambassador, the governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley. That seems so bizarre, too.
That's another pick. They needed a person of color.
She
like,
has
I'm
no
telling
experience.
Zilch, zero. And you know what? Even as a GOP person, as a Republican person, to be honest with you, I did have some respect for her. Like, this lost her respect. I actually, two years ago, when her as the governor of South Carolina came out against the Confederate flag, I kind of like that. And I remember a couple years ago being surprised. I couldn't believe that these people in South Carolina actually voted for her to be the governor. She surprised me on a few things over the years. She popped up on my radar as a good GOP person. So now she's kind of lost respect. I lost respect for her. But who knows, man? Hey,
I could see her leading some other. I mean, maybe she would be better at housing and urban development.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
education. But like, I felt like they put a bunch of names in a box and they just like went down the list and pulled names, and just like assigned people, just like a Pollyanna.
No, I think it was the other way. I think he had the names of all these people who donated or contributed.
And they picked the
and they picked the departments.
They're like, and who's going for EPA? All right, Scott Pruitt, you won. You won EPA cabinet leadership post. Congratulations. He is the Attorney General. It says here, I'm reading New York Times, that he's a close ally of the fossil fuel industry and has taken on the EPA. He sued the EPA. He wants to get rid of it.
Wow.
And it says here that when Rick Perry ran for president last time, that he proposed getting rid of the energy department. And yet now he is energy secretary, or he's nominated to be that post. So again,
how many of them have been confirmed so far?
None of them. Can they filibuster all of them?
No. Like, you know what? If they're gonna really go hard on 3 of them, I'd say Betsy DeVos. I always forget how to say the Exxon guy.
Rex
Tillerson, and Jeff Sessions.
Oh yeah, they're the worst.
They're the worst 3. But I mean, then you can say like 5 more of them or 4 more of them are totally unqualified, including Ben Carson,
Nikki Haley.
Oh my goodness, man, this is unbelievable.
Tom Price, that guy is also should be qualified for ethics violations.
Yes, but he actually said that he might pull his nomination. That was the headline I saw yesterday. I didn't read the article though.
Just like Chris Christie had to withdraw from all his posts because his wife wouldn't leave New Jersey.
Yeah,
That's
right.
What he just claimed.
Yeah, come on.
Blaming it on Mary Pat. Not cool.
Yeah, he not the Bridgegate. Matter of fact, it was because Trump says that he didn't support his Bridget Kelly. Like if you're going to send somebody to the wolves, and you're the boss, you should back them. And he thinks that he didn't back him.
I mean,
he didn't back her.
There are literally 1,000 reasons why he should not get a cabinet post. I do think Mary Pat probably secretly hates him, and didn't want to go to Washington.
Well, she's actually a successful Wall Street person herself. So.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, you didn't know that? Mm-mm. Oh no. Come on, man. That's why you read all that money. It's her money.
Oh.
Yeah. No, Google her. She's a successful Wall Street. I don't know if she's a lawyer. I think she's a trader. I think she's a trader. If I remember right, I forget exactly.
Well, no wonder she doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, she's at New York. She's right there.
Your career's going down the toilet. I'm making the money now.
If you want to come home every weekend, come on. But I'm not going to Washington. That's probably what she probably did say.
Well, their kids are all still in school in New Jersey, so they have 4 kids. So.
I think 2 of them are in college, isn't it? The one girl's
I read
at
that they were all
Indiana.
No,
I know the daughter's in Indiana University.
Well, yeah, they still have some kids. I mean,
yeah, the youngest ones are.
I don't necessarily feel that bad for private school kids getting uprooted to go to a more elite private school in DC with the world's richest other kids. So. I don't know.
I think it's just an excuse anyway. We know that's an excuse.
Totally. But although Trump did say, we're going to do something with Chris in the near future.
Well,
we can give him some recommendations.
I think that's the funniest part of Trump's picking these people, because the 2 slimiest guys that you can think of that were hanging around him, Chris Christie and Giuliani, both of them, neither one of them got real jobs. And Giuliani, both of them. I think that Trump really looked at these guys as backstabbers, as slimy guys, but they were on his team and they served the purpose. But he's not running with them. I don't know. It looks like he used them, and then he discarded them. Now, the other day he actually picked Giuliani to do some minor thing. Giuliani's in charge of Trump's cyber security. That's what he got picked for. You gotta pick some 18-year-old kid that was
another unqualified position.
Yeah,
you had said
why?
Something before. I don't know if it was today or the other day when we hung out, but you had said we lobbied hard against Christie being Attorney General because it seemed really, really terrible. But then instead we got someone much, much worse, which is Jeff Sessions.
And we still have Christie. That's like a double whammy. People in Jersey got hit hard, because if anything, we all thought at least we got rid of Christie. If Trump won, okay, fine. He's going to take Christie and run off with him somewhere. Yes, yeah.
Well, there's a saying, it's
we still have Trump, we still have Christie, and then we got the worst. Jeff Sessions.
There's a saying, it goes like, stick with the devil you know, right? Because the one that you don't know could be much worse. And in this case, it was like, Christie's not seeming that bad compared to Jeff Sessions.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I didn't think that he would go worse, right? But that's exactly what happened.
Yep. Christie, we know Christie's known issues. His drug policy issues, we'd be clearly against. Maybe his education issues would be pension type issues we'd be against too. But Jeff Sessions not only comes with all those issues, he has his race issues. He has his he's like a mean guy too. Like Christie is too, but I don't know. Sessions just looks like a little evil guy, little Napoleon. And he's going to springboard from this. He's going to try to be something else now. Now he's Attorney General.
Yeah, there's definitely more sinister plans, I think, that we don't know about that, is happening across the board. The good news is I think that it's really fired up people. I think these confirmation hearings have really made people, aware of what's coming.
Only people who pay attention. And most people don't pay attention to stuff like that. We're news buffs. That's why we pay attention.
It's true, but I do think that there are a lot of Hillary Clinton supporters that we're Democrats and support the Democratic Party, but didn't do much in terms of direct action organizing. Outside of campaigning for their candidate. Again, there's a difference between electioneering, which is trying to get your candidate elected, and grassroots organizing and direct action, which is taking to the streets and organizing rallies and protests and boycotts and strikes. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think a lot of those people who only did electioneering and maybe watch CNN and MSNBC, they're kind of paying attention, are now starting to really be alarmed and
there's a
worry.
There's a lot of people walking around with patches of hair missing. I'm pulling the hair out.
I feel like I haven't had gray hair before at all, but since election day I have 5 or 6 gray hairs. I blame it on election day. Election flu.
I used the election to miss court. On election day was November 8th. I had court on November 10th. I didn't go to court. The judge issued a warrant. I went to court, to turn myself in. And when the judge asked me why I didn't go to court, I told him I'd been in bed for 2 days. I was depressed about the election. And he agreed with me. Just let it go. He didn't punish me. He didn't give me a fine, no contempt of court, no nothing. He agreed. And I think that, he's a white guy with a beard. And I don't know, for some reason I always think white guys with beards are more liberal than most. So that's what I thought. He was he was on my side with
You're
that
right.
one.
I see all these all the cabinet picks. None of them have a beard.
No. Oh, dude. That's a cultural thing too.
I think
no
Bernie
one ever
needs
talks
to grow.
about.
Bernie needs to grow a beard.
Yeah. He should. He should have long hair and a beard.
He should have a protest beard.
Yeah.
Right. All the delegates start growing their facial hair.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to talk to some of our guests. You've been listening to Fully Baked Radio on WPPM 106.5 FM.
I could take you to my low spot.
Good vibes when you come to my low spot.
Baby, welcome to my. I could take you to my low spot. Good vibes when you come to my low spot. Baby, welcome to my low spot. These summer nights in the city been too good to a nigga like me. All I wanna do is share a dog with a downstoner chick that get lit like me. After the stew, we could meet up, kick our feet up. Know you tired of being tired. I could put you up on the game, how we handle things in a 9 room to judge, so no need to be shot. You know these wrongs what I write, so normally what's left is my life. But for tonight, just pull this wheel and let me open your mind. Know your past cause it parallels mine. And in the end we pretend that everything's good and use the drugs to disguise all the true issues that still plague our mind. But that ain't gonna stop these people from dying, the burners from popping, the wicked from lying, stock market from dropping. So who could deny us the freedom of flying? Cause time ain't stopping for too long. These souls living so young and being so wild. My low spot.
Good vibes when you come to my low spot.
Baby, welcome to my. I can take you to my low spot. Good vibes when you come to my low spot. Baby, welcome to my low spot. Yeah, everything I ever wanted. In this moment, what matters most isn't flaunted, it's cherished. No time for cameras when in the heat of the moment. So save the pose and my pictures may look way better in motion. Back to a low love, watching them on the scream. I'm on Lisa, I'm addicted. I overdose off a dose of coaching FIFA when we kick it. Pick up leaves and proceed to roll a tree to get me lifted. Can't help but adore her presence when resting in this position. Cause I speak when her lips don't. Heartbeat follow the sound of my kick drum. Been on my mind now for a little minute. You got me love struck, baby, I'm the victim. Come take a tour through my dark side while I find a way to your heart. I know that I've been lingering through your thoughts. Just let me take your cues head on a dope ride. No trip necessary, cause baby, I know you know that I can take you to my low spot.
Good vibes when you come to my low spot.
Baby, welcome to my. I can take you to my low spot. Good vibes when you come to my low spot. Baby, welcome to my low spot.
Welcome back to Fully Baked Radio. I'm your host, Flip Marley, and on the phone with us, we have cannabis extraordinaire who is well decorated in the field. Her name is Maya Elizabeth. Maya has been a grower for a long time, an activist in the community, and also a successful ganjapreneur. She recently teamed up with the superstar Whoopi Goldberg, and they have their own cannabis line now. So I'd like to introduce Maya to the radio show. Hey, how's it going, Maya?
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you on our show. We also have Vanessa Maria and NJWeedman here with us.
Hey, Maya, welcome to the show. We're so excited. Of course, being the only girl on Fully Baked Radio, I think more women need to know about cannabis and its potential uses for treatment of symptoms of menstrual cramps and other PMS symptoms. Can you tell us a little bit about your company and how it got started and what inspired you to go in this direction?
Absolutely, and it's really nice to meet you. I appreciate you having me on. Cannabis has always been a women's ally. It's here for us. It's here for everybody, men and women. But especially many women I know, myself included, find cannabis extremely helpful when it comes to menstrual discomfort. There are a lot of herbs out there that are helpful for that time of the month, and I feel like cannabis is just one of the strongest allies we have because it supports not just your physical discomforts, but also your mood.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's really
right.
helpful for PMS, yeah.
Yeah, you said something that there's a lot of other herbs and, a lot of people, again, I think they first run to pharmaceutical products to treat some of the symptoms. But of course, women have been menstruating for thousands and thousands of years. And there's a lot of really great herbs. I like nettles tea. That's really good for cramps, and chamomile for sleeping. Are there others that you're aware of in addition to cannabis that are effective?
Totally. Our line, first of all, the whole line was Whoopi's idea. This was her vision because she realized that women don't have really alternative choices that are healthy and enjoyable for menstrual discomfort. And that's one of the things that cannabis is so amazing for is, not really anywhere else in the world will you find medicine in the form of like the most delicious chocolate you've ever met, which is kind of hitting two birds with one stone because women love chocolate. And it's actually raw cacao is full of magnesium, which is one of the things that helps women with menstrual discomfort. So when I got the phone call about Whoopi's vision and I was asked if I'd be the person who can help manifest this and bring it to life. I said, absolutely. And the first thing I did was call my friend Alexis Gandara. She has a company by the name of Rooted Grounds, and she's a real medicine maker in terms of herbs other than cannabis. So I really specialize in cannabis and superfoods, and that's what I view cannabis as. And she really specializes in all kinds of healing herbs. Of course, cannabis is included, but it wasn't really her specialty. So she already had an existing moon line for menstrual discomfort. And so 2 of our 4 products, actually collaborations between the 2 of us, which involve many other healing herbs. For example, cramp bark. It got its name because of helping alleviate menstrual cramps for women. Red raspberry leaf. It's a uterine toner. It's delicious. It's safe for pregnant women. It's a wonderful, wonderful ally for women. We have some other herbs like motherwort and passion flower, which are very sedative and can really help you relax when you're feeling stressed out and PMSy. Our tincture also includes elderberries, which is a superfood, and it's a blood tonic, and it contains iron, and it helps enhance your immune system. So our whole philosophy is about treating cannabis like a superfood and a healing herb, and wondering if we can make a superior medicine by putting cannabis back into the healing herb family, which is definitely the philosophy behind our company.
Cannabis industry doesn't market to women. You know, I've been to a lot of expos and conferences and festivals with money to spend, and I see a lot of the products are geared towards men. Is that something that you thought about in terms of serving women who have this disposable income to spend on these products, but a lot of the new businesses that exist are kind of like forgetting that we exist?
You know, I think that there are certain parts of the cannabis industry that have been traditionally kind of male-dominated, and then there's definitely a place for women in cannabis. I would never say one was better or worse with the plant, because I really truly believe that together we all make a whole, no matter what type of gender or preference you might have. Really, truly, it does not matter. Everyone's got a place with cannabis.
Like, how did you actually link up with Whoopi? And I asked you because I've always been a huge fan of Whoopi Goldberg before she was even super famous. When she was still doing stand-ups, I was an admirer of hers, and even now I'm a personal admirer of hers. I'd hit on her if I had a chance.
I see why. My whole family, I grew up with my whole family in the 80s watching her movies. It was like one of the family type of movies we would watch together. And my whole family, we are all huge fans. And, you know, if you can imagine how surprised I was to get this cold call about a celebrity who wants to do a menstrual line with cannabis in it, and, you know, would I be the right person to talk to about that? I was just blown away to find out it was Whoopi Goldberg, because, you know, me personally, I don't really own a TV. I'm not into it. I'm really into making my medicine and have my own little bubble going on. But Whoopi is one of the people who I really, truly love, admire, respect, and truly enjoy. And
I like
that's one person
everything about Whoopi.
I would love to. Yeah, and you know what?
I love her voice.
She is as good as you think she is. You know, when I met her in person, I was wondering if she'd be as cool as my mind had built her up to be, and I was like, oh my gosh, blown away. She's actually way cooler. Whoopi is someone who cares deeply about helping others. Whoopi is someone who cares deeply about this vision. She's very involved in the company. It's not just like we leased her name. It's much more than that. It's really, truly a collaboration.
Can I ask a question?
Putting her vision into action.
Do you have meetings like in New Jersey? I know she lives in New Jersey. Do you have meetings in New Jersey, or like?
Sometimes we do most of our meetings over the phone. We have board calls and stuff, but sometimes.
Man, because Whoopi's on the top of my list of females that I would love to, like, smoke a joint with. Like, that's my bucket list. If I could smoke a joint with Whoopi and talk politics one day, I love it. Could I use you to help me, like, do that?
I mean, I can try.
I'm just playing. I'm playing. I'm playing.
No, I will try to put in a good word for you for sure.
Oh, man. Whoopi and Weedman.
she's a she-god. She's a female.
I know.
Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. It's like, who even does that, and let alone a female? It's so amazing. And she's also a medical patient herself. She suffers from glaucoma, and it can be really painful and uncomfortable with the eye pressure.
Hey, Maya, will you tell our listeners how they can find more information about the work that you do?
It's whoopiandmaya.com, and we have a full list of outlets there.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing this information and for all the work that you do and for speaking with us today on Fully Baked Radio.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Keep up all the good work, and we'll be checking in with you later on to get an update and see how everything's going.
And put a good word in
Thank
for
you
Whoopi
so
for me.
much.
Put a good word
Thank
in.
you. That sounds great.
Put a good word in for Whoopi. I'm serious. Say, hey, Whoopi, there's this guy named NJWeedman who really wants to meet you.
Who's the stalker?
Yeah.
Obviously.
No. But I'm a weed stalker, Like, we'll just smoke weed. I won't do anything crazy, but pass her the bong.
Big difference. Not nearly as creepy as soon as it involves cannabis.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. All right. Thanks, Maya. We're going to go now.
And I'm better looking than Richard Gere.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
From the dirt, our heritage is rich. Through the pain, so we deserve this. It's been decades in the making. Time for a few hits. I'm on target, ain't no way I'm about to miss. From the dirt, our heritage is rich. Through the pain, so we deserve this. Been decades in the making. It's time for some hits. I'm on the target, ain't no way I'm about to miss. Bombs away. Bombs away. Screaming bombs away. Bombs away. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, screaming bombs away. Screaming bombs away. Bombs away. So I had to make a way. Screaming bombs away. From the dirt, our heritage is rich. Through the pain, so we deserve this. It's been decades in the making. Time for a few hits. I'm on target, ain't no way I'm about to miss. Bombs away.
Hit 140, that's the dash, get the name right. Your boot could get slain in this thing if a frame right. Gucci flip-flops, I beat it black and blue like my Nike tops. My style ballin' sake hot over lava rocks. Now watch me link my flow, 15 hits C-O-M-B-O. What's all the blinking for? Joint boys, smell me when I roll up. Great times in THC, the hood, and watch this glow up. I feel the need to be tattooed severely, but other geek doesn't. Spend $100,000 on a yearly ink budget. Shout out the field, that's my brother and my big cousin. Goes to talk to drop a LB and had the streets buzzing. We got the wave, and I'ma serve this bitch until the grave. On my own too, every day, busting shots, that's bombs away. From the dirt, our heritage is rich. Through the pain, so we deserve this. It's been decades in the making. Time for a few hits. I'm on target, ain't no way I'm about to miss. Bombs away. Bombs away. Screaming bombs away. Bombs away. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, bombs away. Screaming bombs away. Bombs away.
From the school of hard knocks to make it out, it is impossible to not be scarred and hardened like you are colossal. You're an apostle, me I'm like a prophet. They make Bibles for my verses and my logic. You need to stop it. If you think I ain't struggle, hustle my muscle, no wait. Just think of all of the obstacles that I bust through just to have a Def Jam, no Russell. To give my fam a lifestyle they aren't accustomed. Try to take it, then I'm busting, and it's not up for discussion. And I started from the bottom, should've seen when I had nothing. Trying to grind it to be something. All I know is working, hustling. Trying to lean on these niggas like I'm rolling on that tussin'. I am so not with the bluffing. You know I'm the realest coming. I've been round cold man for years like Philip Drummond. I always stand my ground. I'm never the one that's running. If Hard Knocks had a Hall of Fame, I'm introductory.
From the dirt, our heritage is rich. Through the pain, so we deserve this. It's been decades in the making. Time for a few hits. I'm on target, ain't no way I'm about to miss. Bombs away. Bombs away. Screaming bombs away. Bombs away. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, bombs away. Screaming bombs away. Bombs away. So I had to make a way. I'm screaming bombs away. Thanks for nothing. Yeah.
Welcome back to Fully Baked Radio. I'm your host, Flip Marley, and this is the part of the show where we ask the infamous NJWeedman. All right, so this week we had an email from one of our listeners asking about jury duty. She recently received a letter in the mail. She usually don't attend these, so she wanted to get your input on how you feel about jury duty, if she should attend, and she wanted to know a little bit more about jury nullification. So, what do you think?
What's the verdict?
This is interesting. First of all, we live in the information age now, so she can Google jury nullification and find out way more information than I can say in 2 minutes. But when she gets this letter for jury duty, she can end up on a jury like for a trial, whether it's criminal or civil, or she can end up as a grand juror. I mean, that would be amazing if she can end up as a grand juror, because grand jurors can also use the power of jury nullification to not indict or not return a bill. But I would tell her that she has to stay honest. You have to answer questions honestly, but she can be very evasive. Do a Donald Trump. She can be very evasive and just basically, if she presents herself as being informed about jury nullification, the prosecutors are going to kick her off. They're not going to allow her to be on a jury. So like I said, you have to be honest, but you can be evasive. So, don't explicitly say that you know about jury nullification. But once you're there, just vote your conscience. Like that's the heart of the Sixth Amendment, that a jury has a right to judge a law as well as the facts. And if the crime or the evidence that's being presented to the jurors, whether it's a criminal trial, civil trial, or a grand jury, if they feel that it violates their own conscience, they can simply say not guilty or return a bill of no bill. But I would definitely ask her to Google jury nullification and Google the origins of jury nullification. Like Google jury nullification and say William Penn or John Barry. These are people who were very instrumental in jury nullification, being a part of the Old English common law and becoming part of American legal policy.
Most people are trying to get out of jury duty, I think, is when they see that notice, they go like, "Oh, I don't want to go." And I think that, first of all, it's your civic duty, right? You're not asked to do a lot overall. And really what the Constitution asks for and states is a jury of peers. Mm-hmm. And when a lot of young people and people of color especially are trying to get out of jury duty, you don't wind up with a jury of your peers.
Yeah, I've been on trial 3 times. And the first time, I actually yelled at the jurors in the cafeteria because all these women came up there. Basically, they were agreeing with me, and they were saying things like, "I could never convict this guy, so I don't think I should be on his jury." I was like, "What?" I had this one lady saying that her son sold drugs, and she felt like the police abused him, and he ended up in prison. And she felt that was a reason to get off the jury. And I just found that amazing that so many people try to get off the jury. And I did notice minorities do it a lot more. And I also noticed young people do it a lot more. So in the 2 trials that I did go all the way through with, I had generally older people, generally Caucasians. And I got lucky. I got a hung jury the one time, and I got found not guilty the second time. And trust me, I was guilty. I was absolutely guilty. So I feel jury nullification worked. I felt like, there was members of my jury did vote their conscience because I presented the fact that the law was wrong. Because, just to explain to the jurors, I did get caught with marijuana, a lot of marijuana, over a pound of marijuana in New Jersey, which is a serious offense. And but I also have a medical condition. I didn't have a medical card in New Jersey, and this is what I argued, that the New Jersey law was wrong. And my jurors felt that it was wrong and said not guilty.
All right. So if you get the jury notice, Google jury nullification and, think carefully about, how you can,
save a brother.
Yeah, and serve your community, because a lot of times, like I said, you wind up with a bunch of people who are not maybe connected to the community in any way. They're not organizers, activists, teachers, nurses, spiritualists. They're just like random retired people. Like when I was on a jury, it was like me and this one college student, and we went to school really far away. We were only home for the summer, and a bunch of like older retired people, and they were all like nice or whatever. But I was like, this is kind of an odd bunch to be deciding someone's fate. And like I said, like I didn't, at that point, I had been going away to college. I wasn't involved or connected with the community whatsoever. And I didn't know any better when I got my jury duty notice. I went, they asked me all these questions. I was honest, was like, is there anything that would prevent you from, judging this objectively? I was like, no. Are you available? Like, sure. And I swear every other person was like, I have a disabled child. And the next person was like, I also have a disabled child. And so I was like, I have a disabled mother. Like, everybody had some disabled person they were taking care of, and they couldn't do jury duty.
I know me going on 30, I never even opened them, Like, I've been told from my parents, like, last year I never voted. I voted for the first time last year, so I don't know. One of those jury duty email come across my table, I might just open it and read it. At least read it.
The opposite is true.
You should show up.
You should go.
Listen, I'll try it out.
I didn't get a drug case, but I did get some case. It was actually a civil trial from a slumlord, and this dude was like notorious. He didn't take care of any of his properties in Philly. And he was like a rich guy from the suburbs that had a really nice house. And I think that's what did it for me, is that they showed pictures of all his properties in North Philly that were like dilapidated and falling apart. And he tried to say, like, this is totally legal. I'm not doing anything wrong. And then you saw his house and just the driveway and the lawn with the sprinklers. And like, it was like super nice. And again, just to contrast, you're like, wow, this guy lives in a really beautiful, nice house where obviously his windows aren't falling apart and steps aren't falling apart, because what wound up happening was a woman, she like tripped and fell in this like hole that was like in front of this dude's house. And he was trying to say like having this hole was legal and she should have watched where she was going. At the end of the day, you can use the law, right? Like the law in Philadelphia is that you got to take care of your sidewalk. If there's snow or ice or like holes, you're responsible or liable. That's why people salt all of that, because if somebody falls, they can be subject to a lawsuit. So that's what happened. This lady sued him, and his defense was she didn't watch where she was going, and she's accident prone. Like, that was literally the defense. And the lawyer was his home, his home owner's insurance company. It was really the insurance company didn't want to pay out for this lady's expenses. So they tried to make all these arguments. And this woman was like, she wasn't trying to get rich or anything. She was an older woman. She broke her hip. She couldn't do her job anymore. But this guy was literally like a slumlord. And I felt good. I did vote my conscience. And I did I also was elected as jury foreperson. So I was able to convince anybody who was unsure. And again, you hold a lot of power. And, when we delivered that verdict that we found in favor of the plaintiff, and we fined this guy for having his, dilapidated properties, and he had to pay, and the insurance company had to pay. Like, that felt good. Like, I felt like justice was served. So whether you free somebody or you actually put criminals behind bars, like, I think it's super important that you at least show up, and, you might get eliminated anyway, but at least show up and see what you can do.
Yep, I totally agree.
All right, we're going to come right back. We'll have more Fully Break Radio after the break. Keep it locked here on WPPM 106.5 FM.
Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Pull your pants up or put your hands up. Tell me when you're gonna legalize me. Whoa. We might have to take it to a. Whoa. We might might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Yeah, and coach say don't settle for the J. Meek rather I sell him some cocaine. Well, you can't slang, boy, you can't maintain. You might end up doing a little Usher dancing in the rain. People ask why I cut off the braids. Refresh the wave, cut off the dead wave. Wait, you keep thinking I be playing. I've been thinking about a race. You've been thinking about your bae. Hold up, won't you stop calling my phone, yo? You know this ain't pro bono. You know the flow, so asqueroso. If you ain't know so, now you do. You must like my people dying in the ghetto. You must wanna give a cause to a rebel. You must say my music demonizes soul. I remember Rolling Stone had them dancing with the devil. Hold on, pull your pants up or put your hands up. Tell me when you're gonna legalize me. Whoa, we might have to take it to a, whoa. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. Tell me when they gonna legalize me. A young prince looked out his window and said, I feel a chill on the back of my neck. Rough riders coming down on my set. Voices resonate inside of my head. And they say, I'm dark but I'm comely. Feet made of brass. Hair is like wool. Color me bad. So he blast and I blast. And we ain't buddy buddies, more like bloody buddies. Everybody running, everybody know what's coming. Oh, I'ma need a verse from Brother Farrakhan. You know I had to walk. You know I had to make moves like Elijah Wan. I can't stop for y'all. Squares in a circle. Together we look like octagons. What's official when your officials are unofficial? When Sergeant Pepper Spray got racial issues and ways to get you. And his badge bearing buddies think my microphone a pistol. Hold on. Pull your pants up or put your hands up. Tell me when you're gonna legalize me. Whoa. We might have to take it to a, whoa. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level. We might take it to a whole nother level.
Radio.
We might take it to a
Vanessa
whole
Maria.
nother level.
Flip Marley.
I'm NJWeedman.
And we'd like to thank you guys for tuning into another awesome show. Make sure you check us out next week on WPPM 106.5 every Thursdays at 11 p.m. Or even check us out on fullybakedradio.com. And if you'd like to integrate with us and find out a little bit more about us personally, hit us up on our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those good stuff. They're all Fully Baked Radio.
All right, see you next week.
Stay baked, you guys. Peace.
Peace.